If you constantly struggle to stick to a routine, you probably think you lack discipline. But a failure to execute rarely involves willpower. What you actually lack is a cohesive identity. Think about the internal script you use when missing a workout or procrastinating on a project. You say things like, "I'm lazy," or "I can't focus." These descriptions of temporary actions quickly harden into permanent labels. Over time, a subtle psychological shift happens. You stop viewing laziness as a correctable mistake and begin to accept it as a foundational characteristic of your personality. Once your brain accepts these negative traits as a core feature of who you are, surface-level attempts at motivation become useless. We all know the familiar cycle. You hit a breaking point and decide to get serious, relying heavily on external triggers, watching motivation videos, setting 5 a.m. alarms, and attempting a total overhaul of your life overnight. For a few days, it actually works. You execute your plan, avoid distractions, and feel entirely in control. Then the initial energy burns out. You skip a habit once, then twice, and quickly regress back to your old baseline of distractions. In the aftermath of that failure, your brain searches for a reason to explain the collapse. It usually lands on the same rationalization. Of course I failed. This is just who I am. This endless loop of starting and stopping is a predictable result of trying to force high-performance actions on top of an unchanged identity. Your brain keeps actions aligned with beliefs. This flat line is your core identity, while the spike is motivational action. Your subconscious pulls the spike downward, forcing behavior back to baseline. This gap between high effort and low baseline creates intense psychological friction. Your brain interprets this physical and mental discomfort as an anomaly. To protect you, it instinctually kills your momentum, pulling you back to the familiar. Losing your discipline is actually a sign of your brain doing its job. It is fiercely protecting and enforcing your established identity. Consider how exhausting it is to force yourself to work when you don't want to. Compare that struggle to someone who sits down and executes their tasks effortlessly. A disciplined person never negotiates with an alarm clock. There was no internal debate before starting a project. They skip the decision entirely. They don't treat the work as an external chore. They treat the action as an automatic manifestation of who they already are. Discipline flows directly from a solidified identity, making the daily struggle for willpower unnecessary. To break the cycle, abandon the search for external motivation and focus energy on internal reconstruction. The first step is editing your vocabulary. You must retire static, negative labels. Instead of saying, "I am lazy," shift the phrasing to, "I am improving my focus." Back up your vocabulary with evidence. This feedback loop demonstrates the mechanism. Inputting a microaction generates undeniable proof. That proof expands your new identity. Whether you read 1 page or 50, daily repetition provides the consistency your subconscious mind requires to accept the change. You build a new identity through the accumulation of continuous, documented evidence stacked 1 brick at a time. When you first start operating this way, it will feel unnatural. You will face a sense of being an imposter, as if you are faking a personality that isn't yours. That discomfort is the goal. It is the mechanical friction of your brain actively rewriting its consistency baseline. External action must precede internal belief. You must act the part in the physical world before your brain adopts the trait in your mind. The battle for discipline ends when you change your internal lens. From that point on, your behavior aligns with that vision.